Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave daily update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Thursday, June 13th, 2024. A much, much quieter day than yesterday, and of course, aftermarket as well. We had basically an inside day 2 yesterday's, but we did manage to likely start to put in some very small fourth waves, and they may still be in progress. So let's kind of jump in and talk about, we're going to start here with the NASDAQ. Now, the NASDAQ continued to see just the funds pour back into the market again in Apple, and then, of course, Broadcom trading up over 1,700 at several points today, ending up following the market lower as things started to cool off a little bit. But still, strong day. We saw Tesla jump today, $8-9. Couple of other names also doing well. NVIDIA, new again, post-split, but new all-time highs for NVIDIA, getting up close to 130. So pre-split, that'd be $1,300. So again, we're seeing that all come in. Now, I think a lot of this is in preparation for tomorrow's expiration. And the reason that I think that that kind of goes along is, like, again, as I'm looking at the structures that both the NASDAQ and the S&P are putting in, I begin to again say that each day, I believe we get closer to completing these minute fifth waves, which this is all part of that subdivision, but a minute fifth wave, and then that minor third wave. And that would be in both, that we finish up in both the S&P and here in the NASDAQ, a minor third wave, and we begin that a little bit larger, a corrective phase in terms of a minor fourth wave. So let's take a look here in the NASDAQ. I'm on the hourly chart, and let me just actually go out to the 4-hour because I want to show you that how complex it has gotten, and that we had Mrs. Minute Wave 4 remains the same. That's the April low. And then we have minuet 1, 2, and then we have sub-minuet 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I extended that out yesterday simply because of the nature of how this market just kind of took off of the late or the last day, May 31st low, and just kind of just climbed. And then, of course, Broadcom aftermarket just kind of like went nuts with this, and Apple contributed a great deal yesterday. Now, I'm going to bring it back down to the hourly. So we have 1, 2, 3, minuet 3, minuet 4. Now bringing it back in to the 1 hour, minuet 3, minuet 4. And here we have those internals for that minuet wave 3. We have the internal sub 3, sub 4, and then 5 up to that 3. Small but concise. Minuet wave 4, and then we're off to the races within minuet wave 5, which again will break into its own 5-wave structure. And I had placed this here and this here last night, and I am moving them back over. Actually, not moving them over. I am moving them over after the overnight high or this morning's high up here at 19,691. Almost got to 19,700 this morning. In fact, I thought, okay, well, we're going to go above and we're just going to finish this up today. But we pulled in and did that fourth. Now, let me open this. Okay, let's try to, come on. My computer gets so fussy when I do this, and it drives me crazy. So let me try that again, and I'm not sure why, but we're going to try that again. There you go. So here now we're inside this minuet wave 5. So we got 1, 2, 3, and because of the intensity of what was happening, the quick sell-off and then the quick buyback, and then that kind of threw me yesterday where I was thinking, oh, maybe that's 3 and this is 4, and we're in that 5, and then we came down into this. So I've moved it over on the sub-minuet level. And you're going to see, even on a sub-minuet level, the intensity of these breakdowns, these moves inside all of this. Now, again, starting at that top level, we are in and remain in an intermediate third wave. And within that, we're finishing up the minor third wave. So in essence, what we have been doing is, along with just this sizable intermediate third wave, which it should be, we are finishing up the 3 of 3 move, right? Minor 3 of intermediate wave 3, and that's finishing it up. And then within minor 3, it has subdivided and extended many times. And so it's been quite dynamic in terms of building on this particular Elliott wave structure. And so if we just look at it on an Elliott wave basis, this is one to study. Because if you really want to see the dynamics of what can happen in a market when things just really do get expanded, and you get an expanded third, you get an expanded or a fifth wave, and so we just keep finding them as we go along. So inside 1, 2, 3. Now here, this actually counts pretty cleanly as a 5. It doesn't really overlap. Maybe just yeah, it does a tad. But there's certain allowance here, but I'm not sure if it's an A, B, C, and then it gets marked to 4, or is it a 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is kind of an A, B, C, and gets marked A, B, and we still have a down cycle to do. So I'm presenting both. So these support, fib support here, go with if this fourth wave was not done, and this is only wave A, and this is going to be wave B, and we come back down tomorrow. Now, the intent would be, or the expectation would be, that we're going to break below 19,500, because that was this low, and we would need to get below it to put that C wave in, and then we have common 3A2 support at 19,425. So, and then if it continued, right, we get a decent sell, then we have 19,343. So we have levels. I include this, but if it were to come down here, I would expect that it likely would get broken. And that would be a level I would not want to see broken in terms of this being a fourth wave, a smaller fourth wave, as a matter of fact, smaller degree. So that's why I'm leaving that there. If it starts to break, it's really going to conclude more that this completed wave 5, and this is wave 1, 2, and we're going to drop in a third. Okay, so those are the two scenarios that I'm kind of looking at, going like, well, okay, but now we need to sit and wait and see what the market actually, how it's going to play out. So again, just repeating, we do have the possibility that 19,691, which was this morning, completed the whole thing. So if I left 3, 4, or 3, 4, however we want to look at it, then, and this is a quick 5, then but would be sub-minuet wave 5, minuet wave 5, minute wave 5, minor wave 3, and this would be the absolute beginning. So what we would then start to look for is it starts to pick up speed to the downside. That would be our key. And the second key would be, which is why I'm leaving this up, is it comes down and breaks all this. Breaks all of this resistance. Breaks all of this support. And then starts to drop. Now, on the 1-hour chart, it would be dropping below the 50. It'd be dropping below the 200. And that would continue to confirm. So we'd be looking for the initial decline to form 5 waves down on an hourly chart. Could be 1, 2, and what comes next is a very nice, quick, solid drop. That's if this is all done. Otherwise, as it got left going into the close today, it wasn't really kind of showing like, okay, we're just ready to go down. They were buying. They were buying. And so even though we saw some downside, they came right back in. Each time they would come right back in. So I don't think that the market is done or complete pulling in, or even it's to go do it tomorrow on the expiration. We'll see. So, but it just didn't appear like they were ready to give up this particular run. And so again, we had a lot of movement in Broadcom. Was that enough? Was that it? I don't know. So moving averages are still actually doing pretty good. The 13 and the 20 kind of got sideways with all of this bouncing around. Actually, I'm going to say it wasn't that it was like solid down, solid up. It just was very choppy, as notated by these moving averages. The 50 continues to angle higher, as does the 200. They're a little bit slower boats, so they take a little bit longer to either get flat or to turn. All right, let's go over and take a look at the S&P, which also same story. A little bit different degree, but same story. So we have minuet wave 3, minuet wave 4 here. Oh, one last thing. Sorry. I will start that one over. But I forgot to say, if it is wave 5 and we're going to move higher, here are our resistance zones. And we continue to have this. It's just there. It's been exceeded today, but it came back below. So it's been tested once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and continued to hold the market. So that's why I'm leaving it there. And that's 19,656, 57. And then we have above that, if we break, and we're going to go up to finish that fifth, 19,722. And then this starts to line itself up with the 0.618 for the minute. And this puts it at 19,007, I think it's 50, right in the 50. So I think we got 50 and 52, or this might be, let me see what that guy said. Yeah, they're all right there lined up at around 50. And then once above that, then we're up above 19,900 for this fifth wave. It would be incredible, but possible. So again, that would be our resistance. Okay, now over in the S&P, same kind of a build, same kind of a story. Minuet 3, minuet 4, let me just show you right there. And then we start to go up. So we have sub minuet 1, sub minuet 2, and then we subdivide in the third. It's not the prettiest, but it works. Sub minuet 3, sub minuet 4, and then we start to launch in the sub minuet fifth wave. And pretty clean in terms of 1, 2. The third did go here. Remember last night, I think I was talking about we'll have to wait and see which one, because could that be 4? And then we started to go up. It's like, no, didn't work that way. So the 3 permanently is going to, well, for right now, permanently, going to go right there. And that is a sub minuet 3. And then the 4 kind of comes in right there. Nice, clean ABC down. And I believe it did reach a support level. I'd have to go back and look at it again, but I believe it did. Nonetheless, it did form the ABC, and then it started to take off afterwards. So looking for, and here are our fibs, we're looking for the fifth wave. Now, where would wave 5 be equal to wave 1, right? This little tiny wave 1 here. And that would be right there, 5465, actually, I think is the number. And then we have for minuet wave 5 at that same area, 5466. So again, we have some really interesting levels. Let me see if it gives me both. 65.99, yeah, pretty much 54.66 is going to be the tag for both of those. And it's interesting because one is for the sub minuet wave 5, and that would then complete the sub minuet wave 5, which pushes higher, by the way, because the 100 here, which is the most common, come and gone, not even valid anymore. So, but that doesn't mean that that's what it has to do. But then once again, If we kind of get up all through that, then yeah, we have additional. Now, both of these, this is for this fifth wave, and this is for this fifth wave. And this fifth wave would fall right in line to be complete on here. So this zone and this zone present an interesting picture for the S&P that they're that's what I'm looking for. Now, I know that resistance in the futures market here, I believe, comes in at 5470-ish area, and then 5500 being the round number. So everything keeps getting rolled up, but we'll see, because it always continues to stay very, very interesting what the market pushes to and how, call walls and everything gets pushed up to the next level. So it makes sense for the market to make a good move towards that area, and tomorrow's expiration might be just the ticket. So again, the bulk of trading and what we're seeing is in calls. There's been a heavy call buying, and that's not only just in the indexes, but also in all of the components. We've seen some heavy duty buy calling. More so, tying it around the following week, the June 21st monthly expiration, which right now is very large. It's a very large expiration. And then we have at the end, the following week on the 28th of June, we have the quarterly expiration. So we've got back-to-back big expirations coming up. Now, interestingly enough, next week, on Wednesday, the markets, regular session, the markets will be closed, as it is Juneteenth. So that is a federal holiday now. And if it happens to fall on a Wednesday, and boom, they've taken it. And so the markets will be closed on the 19th. Fortunately, they've decided, well, we'll just move the VIX expiration to Tuesday. So what normally we'd look for Wednesday, now we're going to have to confront on Tuesday, just pre-holiday, one-day holiday, that would be. And then we all get to come back on Thursday, prepare for Friday, and it's like that. It's crazy. So back here, where are, again, our fibs? We have 54.55, which stays in place because it's only been tested and twice. So that stays in place, but I would expect it to be broken to finish up a fifth wave. And our first line is around that 54.65-66 area. And then if it goes through there with some strength, that pushes it to the next area, which is 5500, 5501, 5508, 09, 5510, all up in there. And I would imagine that a lot of stops are going to sit behind this one as well. So if it should happen, this is not as quirky as the NASDAQ in terms of that it looks like we had 5 down. This definitely looks like an ABC, which is why I left the other one as an ABC as well. So, and it does look complete, as it does basically in the NASDAQ as well. So we will see how this all plays out pretty much tomorrow. Moving averages here, and then in the S&P, the same. Kind of the 50s kind of getting lazy, going like, what? Okay. And here we have the 200, and then the other two are basically just turning flat because of what the market did. Let's take a quick look to see what we have in terms of any data coming out tomorrow. And of course, we do quite a bit, actually. At 8:30 a.m., we have import and import price index. And then we have it read two ways, where it's import price index minus fuel. I was like, okay, I'm not really sure why they do that, but they do. We have consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. And then we have two Fed presidents out talking, one of them twice. Cleveland Fed President Loretta Mester, she's going to speak on television. She's doing a TV appearance at 8:30 a.m. and then another one at 1:15 p.m. And then Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee is out talking at 2 p.m. Eastern. Oh, wait a minute, one more. And then at 7 p.m., Fed Governor Lisa Cook will be giving a speech somewhere. Now, this is interesting because the disappointment yesterday was that the feeling is that the Fed is kind of reneging on what they said they were going to do. And in fact, that inflation is starting to ease off according to the numbers. So either the Fed doesn't believe the numbers or the Fed realizes that the numbers aren't as accurate as one would think. I'm not sure because Powell basically was just saying a lot of things about, well, we're still, looking like we'll probably get one in 2024, one cut coming in 2024, and then we'll just carry the others over into 2025. It's like, oh yeah, how nice of you. But again, he's like that the data, that's what they're depending on, data dependent. And it's like, well, the data is telling you one thing, and you're saying, well, you want to see that it's last and not just an anomaly. That's like the anomaly, my friend, is that they don't include food and energy. If they did, we wouldn't be having this discussion because inflation is still very real if you include food and energy. All right, that's enough from me today. Again, we have those numbers coming tomorrow, and I will make an attempt to put up the weekly over the weekend. I got a couple of things going on, and so I may not get around to it maybe until Sunday if it's going to get done. I feel that they're important because of the position. And so either I might get it done tomorrow afternoon after the expiration and the close, if indeed it's appearing that we've kind of made our high and I can count the fives and to set us up for next week. For those that have kind of put out a couple of words saying hey, get well soon, just to give you an update, I have finished my Paxlovid regiment, and I am feeling a lot better. So thank you for all the kind words and the thoughts on that front. Okay, so I'll try to get that weekly update done, possibly tomorrow, if not then on Sunday. And the next Elliott Wave daily update will be on Monday, June the 17th.